Aloha! In this video, I'll tell you all about the inspiration for Lure of the Dragon, Book 1 in the ALOHA Shifters series. So, to start with the characters, were you wondering about Tessa? Tessa is a fiery, stands on her own feet heroine, so her being a redhead fits, and her green eyes are what made me pair her with the emerald. And what about her job? Well, a few years ago, I met a woman who worked as a private chef, a job I had no idea existed until then. It was such an interesting, offbeat job, I knew I would use it for a heroine someday. Being a chef comes in handy as a means for Tessa to win the hearts of the shifters of Koa Point, who generally steer clear of humans. As for Kai, he inherited his human mother's optimistic outlook, which means he's not as dark or brooding as his older cousin Silas. As an author, I look for ways to make powerful heroes vulnerable, which is how I decided on Kai's backstory. He's an orphan who was old enough to remember his parents, but young enough to feel the terrible loss. He's determined never to fall for humans so that he will never suffer the same fate his parents did. Of course, destiny has other ideas, tempting him with Tessa. It seemed to me dragon shifters would choose to live on high rocky points, so I had a lot of fun designing Kai's modern glass front house with amazing views over the ocean to the neighboring islands of Molokai and Lanai. I made him a helicopter pilot as a fond nod to TC of the Magnum PI television series, and if anyone knew about flying, it would be a dragon shifter. And of course, Kai loves speed, so he usually chooses the Ferrari when he goes for a drive. Originally, I was going to base the evil dramatic buildings. That idea came from a visit to New York when I was waiting for some friends on a beautiful fall day. I looked up and there was this amazing building that would be perfect. One reason was to give a dragon more space to fly. Another was to build a link to the wolves of Twin Moon Ranch through Ella. I didn't entirely scrap the idea of a New York penthouse though. I'm saving it for a future story, so keep your eyes peeled. The idea of a fire maiden arose when my mind was wandering, looking for an explanation as to why the evil dragon, Damian Morgan, would be so determined to claim Tessa. I love the idea of having a special quality you're not even aware of that makes you important and cherished by others. In a way, it's a reflection of the truth. Everybody has a hidden quality that makes them unique and lovable in their own special way. Plus, wouldn't it just be the coolest thing to find out you're a fire maiden? There are a few things that didn't fit neatly into the flow of the story, so I ended up separately writing 2 bonus scenes I share with newsletter subscribers for free. So make sure you're subscribed. One of those scenes is a mating bite, and another is the dragon honeymoon Kai and Tessa go on once the main action of the story winds down. Don't miss them. My favorite scene in this story is the opening, in which the spook Tessa arrives at Koa Point Estate. I just love the swirling tension and uncertainty in that scene, and the way it introduces readers to the ALOHA Shifters world. Easygoing wolf shifter Boone cracks the jokes. Cruz, the high-strung tiger, paces in the shadows. Hunter, the sweet hulk of a bear, watches everything with keen eyes. And Silas, Kai's broody dragon cousin, keeps an eye on the big picture and reminds the others what's at stake. I also love the way that Tessa stands up to the pressure and immediately starts establishing herself as their equal. So there you have it, the story behind the story of Lure of the Dragon. Kai and Tessa's story is just the beginning of a multi-book series that will all interconnect. If you're thinking that Drax, the powerful dragon who looms in the background of the story, has more trouble in store for our friends, you're right. Laid-back Boone, the wolf shifter, is about to stumble across the greatest beach find of his life, too. So make sure you check out Lure of the Wolf, Book 2, to see what happens next. To learn about the inspiration for the entire series, check out my post on the inspiration for the ALOHA Shifters series, in which I explain how the series developed from a rough idea to actual stories over the course of many months. Thanks for tuning in.